Alright, I'll take a couple minutes if you think that you can spare a few, and try to mask my bitterness like wild berry theraflu. Sometimes I find things bearable, I really do. Sometimes I'm marigolds and baby blue. Sometimes I make it 20 minutes without thinking to myself how those who chose to starve you will not take the time to stay and bury you. No chariots will carry you to Arlington or Xanadu, come lay you in the vacant space that sits beneath your panic room. So this one's for the native graves on which we laid some tanning booths that closed within a year and changed to mom and pop Italian food. That got pushed out for Pizza Hut, which got shut down for safety codes, and in the end the building was demolished for the danger posed. Now there's just an empty field where little vegetation grows, where now and then you'll think you hear the wind when there's no wind that blows. Maybe that's the echo of the laughter of the natives when they see how we can't feed ourselves or fashion our own winter clothes. Watching us like human moths all drawn where'er the ember goes, with all the sea a garbage heap and mountains stripped like centerfolds. And down beyond the crater where the river flows, polyfluoroalkyl trout are mating in the witch's grove. Each are casting dirty glances, third eyes, courtesy Monsanto, glaring at the only trout with two who dared to interlope. Now maybe that was truly thunder, humming through the stones below, or native spirits laughing with a cackle like a thunderbolt that rendered in one brilliant flash to shattered glass this sundered gloam. Or maybe it's the rumble of a humbling karmic undertow. Maybe we've been swept away by titan waves with plastic foam, so every day we gasp and writhe, our hopes alight with phosphorus glow. Gods, what awful prospect to restore this nation's monstrous soul. And yet the concept is a constant threat of promise kept to bait the polls. And then they take those votes as far from all us nosy proles as they can coast on half the world's reserves of coal. And take the rest to go and try to overdose before they hit the polls. Crashed a global market, broke a couple bones. Made a couple buddies, faked a dozen loans. Torched a lot of farms, I bet you never heard. Cops were being cops, they said a couple words. Well, over in the vacant lot on 23rd, someone traced the Pizza Hut from memory in the ash and dirt. As I stood and stared, I heard the wind, and yet no wind had stirred. Still, I found myself concerned that I might see the sketch disturbed. I sat within a booth, outlined upon the vacant earth, as one might touch the only stone still standing in their place of birth. Sick for dumb nostalgia, which the truly branded yearn. Then I heard their voices rushing past. You'll never learn. You'll never learn.
They won't let you go, set you free, send you home. Wait, please say you know what you need is what you owed, and they won't let you go, set you free, send you home.
I was close enough to smell the fire. Jesus took the wheel and then he kicked me off the ride. I was busy shouting at myself from in the crowd, about to throw down and drag myself outside. I had to give myself the business. When I show myself forgiveness, it goes right between the eyes. Was looking past my shoulder, never focused on the prize. I stalked myself through burning sand the better part of 40 nights. I found myself staring in the mirror, yelling, go into the light. Cause I was in the rear view, staring at the highway, horrified. I was in the road ahead, arms wide, ready to be mummified. Gonna be the fella yelling how he's sick of always betting on his life. I'll also be the guy that brought the dice. Half a dozen chambers and I keep an empty 5. Only needed one to break the ice. Only needed one to clear my mind. Only needed one to stop time.
Wait, please say you know what you need is what you owed, and that won't let you go. Set you free, send you home.
I'll be the guy that brought the dice.
Our society and our world are full of these invented and built up and contrived facades. And sometimes some people come along with a hammer and smash that facade. It's a brilliant, powerful hammer. It's a brilliant, powerful hammer to smash that facade. It's a brilliant, powerful hammer to smash that facade.
Welcome to the future. Shit where you please. The Wi-Fi's killer, but there's no more bees. So there's hardly any flowers, there are very few trees, and you'll pay $1,000 for some honey for your tea. But we got these awesome collars, mine's an Apple Model 3. It allows for better movement than the Tesla X Elite. It lets you customize the ads that it implants in every dream. And for premium subscribers, doesn't shock you in your sleep. But it doesn't stop there. It can analyze your speech, and if it hears disinformation, then it notifies police. It's a swift re-education, but it knocks you off your feet like your booster every 7th week. I faced the future boldly with 2 eager open eyes, and I picked a couple nuggets up that blew my fucking mind. Like you can taxidermy someone while they're technically alive, and they'll shine when it's election time. See, the Democratic voter base will pay them zero. Never mind if voting for the scarecrow is a vote along their party lines. They could stare into its marble eyes and claim there's something dignified. Unlike real politicians, this one doesn't need an oxygen or kit supply. But its function is the same as those who came before. The goals are never misaligned. It still spends all its working time performing pre-recorded fleecing sessions where it sugarcoats your slow and hungry genocide, while pouring billions into Nazi coffers, all the while selling you the story that we're moments till the MiGs arrive. So fuck it, ask Zelensky if he'll help replace our leaded pipes. Watch a fleet of Penske's show, stacks of bills in every size. Guess it only took a black sun and a couple Heils. Honorary goose step and some Nazi boots a quarter mile, all while Biden sneers his sordid smile. I don't know what was in this morning's vial, but it makes him stare 1,000 yards through all the prompters and the cards like he can smell the nearest child. His eyes are wide and wild, wider than the grave in which another 1,000 families were tossed in as I typed until they rose up to the sky unceremoniously piled. Which sort of flies right in the face of all this network ticker tape where the American economy has superhuman vitals.
And sometimes some people come along with a hammer
See, I like to think my trial's gonna play like a recital. I'll denounce the world around me and accuse the most entitled, who weaponize their titles, whose pull is something tidal, who'd starve us all to death to best delight their blinded idol. So they might destroy the record, and I will never get to vinyl. So my word is not immortal, but it's final.
It's a brilliant, powerful hammer. It's a brilliant, powerful hammer to smash that facade.
SWAT team took your neighbor today. Watched them as they walked him away. You told yourself extremists come in all different shapes. Met his eyes and lowered your gaze. Is it too late for us to ever change? When we are collecting the dust of better days, they're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to be safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Sheriff stopped your daughter today. Pepper sprayed her twice in the face. He must have had good reason if he'd treat her that way. At least that's what they've taught you to say. But is it too late for us to ever change? Once we're collecting the dust of better days, and they're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to feel safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Feds arrived and had you detained. Said you'd made some posts they want changed. Tased you till you felt like you'd forgotten your name, or life before they had you contained. Life before they had you contained. SWAT team took your neighbor today.
Are we? Did we? Can we? Have we? Will we?
I think we are.
I think we are.
Do it up.
I don't want to rush to any conclusions. Hi, everybody!
I had to let him do it first. All right. We are actually live. This is actually live. We're here. It's not a clip show. This is a live American tradition for real. I got Jesse Jett here. Really?
For real.
I'm
perpetuity.
Indy. No kidding. No intro music again. Oh no! I fixed it on How Do We Miss That, but I did not fix it on American Tradition. All right, now I need to write that down so that I remember to do that. Cynic, write that down. Remind me, because I'll forget by the end of the show. But damn it! All right, well, yep, this is American Tradition, and I bet you thought that Trump would go to jail and Joe would listen. Neither one of those things is going to happen. Kamala won't listen either. Tonight we're going to roast Cam. And Jesse's...
Oh, boy. We sure are.
Jesse's going to have some fun tonight. I picked out a couple of songs where he does quite a roast. Ugly Fucking Christmas is really down. I'm excited to potentially hear you do that one tonight. What did I want to ask you? There was something I wanted to ask you. Oh, new album. How close? Where are we? What is there an ETA?
We're at that point where it really all depends. It could be I only need like a couple good weekends that I hunker down and I can finish it. It's really hard to say right now. Like everything is written. I have recorded a couple things so far. It's a matter of still figuring out how to connect everything and interweave stuff and getting a little caught up in wanting to do all these little callbacks and all these little concept album things, but also not wanting to spend so long on it that it becomes my Chinese democracy. So that's where I'm at right now.
You're the long one, right?
Yeah.
They literally like... in the documentary talked about that song and that album taking so long, and they're like, well, we know what to call this one. The Long Run.
Yep.
That's a great album, great tune. And all right, so Cowboy Kitty's here. We got Anthony, we got Anna Mares. Ooh, it is live. Yes, it really is live, Anna. Of course it's not on Rockfin. And okay, so a little bit of an update. I did see they did pay, although it seems that they're a little short in their payments. I'm showing
Where's my money, man?
I'm showing
Where's
over
my money?
over $100 in the last 3 months. Yet we only got like 41 Ray tokens, which would be worth like, $45 or $46 in total, if that. And it should be 73 or 74 with Ray, them taking out their money, and like something's off somewhere. I don't know what it is, but I'm kind of out on how difficult it is. As little money as there is there, and as expensive it is to transact, I just don't see it worth doing it for us until we've got a bigger audience, I think. And that's what sucks, because I really do like that platform and believe in it, but they won't even let the INN channel work. They can't fix it. And to go to a second channel, I don't know, whatever. We got Rumble. We're on Kick. I'd like to get up to #1 on Kick. We are in the live music category. And I'm guessing that there's somebody with 30 or 35 people over on kick.com/Indie News Network. But so we're going to try to do a thing with Kick. I don't know how well that's going to work out for us. But of course, our big platform, and I was telling Jesse before, as everyone's getting deplatformed, our move has been to build an email list through Substack. Because that way, we get to 100% of the people on that list every time. We can't really we can't have it taken away. Heidi is hearing the echo, by the way. So maybe that gain is still up a little high on your mic. I don't know, Jesse. All right, so that's definitely better.
I used to joke that one day
the only way I would be able to get music to people would be to have a mailing list, and I made cassettes and I sent them to everyone, and you listen to it and then you burn the cassette, and we never talked about it again.
Burn the
But
record.
honestly, that might be the best way to end up continuing to release music in the future.
Well, you know,
I get a short list of people who get the burn after listening cassettes.
right? Steve had Mike Mattingly on today, and he's like, I'm not even putting my stuff on digitally. Like, you literally have to send me a check or, you know, like get me some paper money physically somehow. And, yeah, like he's going old school and he's trying to really unplug and not be part of the system. He's like, I don't want to put it on Spotify. I don't want to have a middleman. I will send you it in a format that you can listen to. Like, okay. That's hardcore old school right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, this is going to be the politics of joy and other war crimes tonight, and we're going to talk about Cam. Oh my God, the anointed one, as I've been referring to her. You know, I've written a couple articles that I still can't believe that everyone just went along. Like, yeah, she's the candidate. That's cool.
Yeah. We go along with an awful lot now. You know, we're really good at going along with it.
We go along with everything. I mean, nobody stands up. Well, that's not true. People are standing up, but they're not getting through, and they're getting dismissed. They're getting deplatformed. Is what we're seeing. You know.
Yep.
So, what did you have in mind for playing some stuff tonight to roast Kamala?
We're going to start with the first, to my knowledge, this was the first piece I wrote that ever mentioned her. I could be wrong about that, but it's either the first or second. This is off of an album that just had its 3-year anniversary, War Crime Jams to Pork 2. We're going to do a little spoken word effigies. So if you want to bring those up. Fun fact, when you listen to the album version of this song, I laugh after a line that I went back and forth on including, which is the I can hear the bullfrogs calling me, telling me our purpose should be stringing up the heads of every oligarch for all to see. The I can hear the bullfrogs calling me is a line from Green River by CCR, which is like my favorite CCR song. And for some reason, that's just what popped in my head after the line before that we will never have the chance to read before we fall asleep. Calling me popped in my head, and I just was like, I mean, why not? Why not use that line and then have it be like them telling me, hey, fucking, you know, choppy time. So I do a little laugh to myself after that line on the record because I couldn't say bullfrogs and not feel like it was still kind of out of place. So I did my best to make it, you know, make it fit with the song. But that was one of those lines, like once I conceived of it, like I'm going to make this fit however I have to, because this is for Jesse. Like I need this in there.
All right, let's see. I'll turn myself down, and maybe that'll balance me out with Jesse, because Cynic is saying that you're low and that, I don't know, maybe that's the gain you turned down, but it sounded good on my side. You sound fine. I hear you perfectly clearly, but I don't know if that's my OBS or what's going on here. All right, well, we're going to do effigies. I've got effigies up and ready, so...
Boom. Look. Oh, before we get into a piece, I'd like to make an introduction to everyone. Some bad news and some good news. The bad news, and this might sound a little personal, I recently cracked my flesh vessel.
Oh!
Right on the mouthpiece. And
dude, I need to cut that.
It's still intact, okay? But it's not safe to use. So it's more of a memento now. And lo and behold, what did I find when I went out hunting for a new bottle? But from the makers of Flesh Vessel, his green counterpart, complete with the straw mouthpiece that the Flesh Vessel was so sadly missing. So I would like to introduce everyone to the Sylvan Vessel, which will be the new cup until something happens to it.
I love it.
So
I love the Sylvan Cup. That works. Oh, goodness gracious. Hannah Kardashian, flesh vessels are your specialty? That's terrible. Terrible. All right. I'm going to mute. You can do... All right, let me bring this up here.
Effigies. Big shout out to Mad Mom, by the way. I was listening to this and realized I haven't performed this since Kissinger died. And we talk about Kissinger a lot in this. But Mad Mom had left a comment on Bandcamp, obviously right after she put Kissinger finally dead, and I'll never call him king. Hope you're feeling better. That's fantastic. All right, without further ado, folks, this is Effigies. These are Effigies. This is Effigies. These are all my effigies. Crammed in tight like refugees, spouting all my spite into effigies of Joe and the rest of these feckless molesters, trimming up hedge funds out of what's left of our destinies. He'll dole out a loan from our own tax refunds. He's dumb enough to believe he impressed me. Well, if child poverty was a test and you got 50%, that is not some success to me. But you'll victory lap with an ice cream truck, which is really just the peak of this pedo Joe shit show of irony. You'll fly that flag high enough to call the fleet, bring them to the center of the spectacle, right into the eye of the Odyssey, and witness those who rape the earth consistently protected under policies that we will never have the chance to read before we fall asleep. Well, I can hear the bullfrogs calling me, telling me our purpose should be stringing up the heads of every oligarch for all to see, mount 'em on the tallest trees, point at all the CEOs like we defunded all of these. This is me in purest form, speaking to you honestly. Speaking through the tears, may they force you to acknowledge me. When they seat you at the table, you get options. One is playing ball, the other is an all-expenses trip where the piranhas feed. This is me in purest form, exuding something similar to sauna steam. Forge my fury right into the sonic stream. I have zero fucking truck for incremental measures or political idolatry. All these people vying for your 27 grassroots units worth $1 weed, all too proud to wear your issue prominently on their sleeve, but only long enough to rock a photo op. Then they drop it from their speeches 'cause you gave them all the optics they could ever need. When they tell you that you need to wait and you don't understand the game, what they really mean to say is they can't wrap their greedy little brains around a fight for what you know you'll probably never see. But what would you expect from people warped by a life spent hunched, sucking money from the debt machine? What would you expect from someone constantly reminding you that they are not your enemy? White-collar criminals who know the only punishment they're ever gonna face is a handshake, a steak, and a tall glass of clemency. Ask you what a check for Ask you what a check for what they make in half a day would mean to you and yours, then drink your tragic story down like Hennessy. Sometimes you gotta break 5,000 people, all to make a human omelet to feed to an economy that needs a little energy. Stepping out their limousine and over 500,000 corpses just to hang the banner like America is back and we've been editing our history. We sterilized it whiter than a bleach-backed double shot of Listerine, as bloody little handprints rinse out in the simple green. Look at how the shining little city on a hill is newly primed for the kill and is hideously glistening, thirsting for the gristle of the working class, all the muscle, all the fat, all the single parents we peel off the mat, all their kids prepped for an early death, primed for imprisoning. Up to date on active shooter protocol and well aware that no one's really listening. Biden's here to dunk your little deer into an oil drum and consummate the christening. Contemplate the weight of how we're just too late to save after Kamala has risen and the bell outside the mission rings. She'll know your location and be tracking your positioning, all because a tweet that showed you don't accept conditioning. Now you're in a bunker that they swear you're only visiting. Once you've been re-educated, you can be released and have a pretty blue check to commemorate the trauma we inflicted in the name of socialism's re-envisioning. Kamala has risen,
The bell outside the mission rings. The dissonance will set your hopes to blistering. She's walking through the West Wing whistling, America is back and hailing Kissinger a living king. But America is failing every living thing. America is failing every living thing. That's effigies.
That's effigies, yeah.
Happy belated birthday, effigies.
And fuck you, Henry Kissinger in the grave.
It does feel good to say Kissinger and know he's finally kicked the bucket. I'm not gonna lie, that feels real good.
You know, up to date on active shooter protocol. I dropped my kids off at school late because we had a thing last week, and they were in the middle of an active shooter drill. So I got to experience.
Yeah, my kid had one today.
I got to experience it, and we had to basically wait outside while they locked down the whole school. And everyone, I'm like, what do you do during this stuff? Well, we go under a desk and we hide and we lock the door. And and they basically inflict trauma on our children on a monthly basis, somewhat scheduled, but required. Thanks for that. Fire drills.
We had to,
active shooter drills. Yep.
We had to retire the light up shoes for my kid because they were like, oh, that's probably not the wisest move if you're in an active shooter situation. You're trying to hide somewhere. So they are not school shoes anymore. That might be a little much, but you know, anything.
Is that really a rule from the school?
Well, no, it's not a rule from a school. It's just it's a suggestion that, like, you know, that does draw extra attention. That, like, if you're laying low under something but you're shuffling about a little bit, that, like, those shoes do light up if you look at them wrong. So
yeah, well, yes, they do. Okay. Good point.
I
think my kid's doing like Vans basically that have Pikachus on them and Pokemon, so they don't light up right now. Oh yeah, we're good. We're good.
You know,
at the moment.
real quick side talk on shoes. I've always been like Vans, like, you know, flat, like boat shoes, Sperry's, just like little flat whatevers when I'm not wearing like work boots. Jess got some shoes for work since she's on her feet, like in the hospital. She got the On Clouds, which are these like super nice, supportive, like it's ridiculous. So she was taking back a pair and she was like, just try them on, just humor me and slip them on. So I put one foot in these and I had one foot still in my little boat shoes. And she comes over, she's like, what do you think? I'm like, I'm livid. I didn't need to know this kind of comfort existed. For anyone who's ever seen the True Level bit in Rick and Morty, it was I experienced True Level, and like it was like heroin. It was like, how can I ever go back to normal life now that I know what this is? So I'm standing there with like one foot in each. I'm like, you know what? The days of my concern about how my shoes look, fucking gone. I'm getting these orange and purple shoes right now. It's like they feel like how I imagined the kids in the old Moon Boots commercials felt. How they'd just be bouncing their asses all over the place. It's like rocking chairs for your feet. And I'm just like constantly propelled to just like, I don't know, I want to toe drag. I feel like I'm in the NFL. Like there's a serious, what's it called? The Dunning-Kruger effect?
Yes.
Where like, as soon as I put these on, I'm like, oh, I'm capable of a lot of athletic prowess all of a sudden. But the comfort level, I'm also like, I'm 35. My back and knees are shitty. They're not going to get less shitty. So it's time to start mitigating some of that wear and tear with some better shoes than just what basically felt like cinder blocks when I tried these other shoes on. So
Cowboy Kitty is somewhere in Tennessee, parked in a truck stop, and apparently he thinks someone hit his truck. That's not cool.
Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
Feds.
Uh-oh. See. All right. So yeah, effigies is a good one.
Let's move to. You can do either version of Coming a Spring for this one. We're going American Heritage.
Perennial, nice. Okay, we'll do perennial American Heritage. And that's right there. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I couldn't figure out why the lyrics weren't in the right place, but now I know why. because I actually clicked on the song, which puts the lyrics in a different spot. Now when they're framed, it will be better, and they'll go right up to the top like they should. See, like this, right? See, Cynic? Uh-huh. Oh, but what I did want to do before I do that is I did want to get rid of my bookmarks, because that is distracting. And that will let you to focus even more on the lyrics. And now we are good to go. All right. American Desires, folks.
No, sorry, American Heritage.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, isn't that right?
Is it,
After, before, American Heritage?
Is that on the same?
Yes, it is. Here.
Oh, yeah, earlier.
Number 8. Okay, we're here. American Heritage, see?
So this piece also made me realize I've got several Shakespeare references in pieces, quite a few for Hamlet. So I thought it'd be fun one night to do all those pieces and then read some Hamlet or like some Shakespeare excerpts. Just do a whole theme night, because we love ourselves some theme nights here on American Tradition.
I'm thinking like Pee-wee Midsummer Night's Comedy, like from Porky's. Immediately, like I go to him dressed in that little green outfit, like the Goblin, bro. Like I don't know why. Like of all that's where I go. That's where my head goes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I can't control it.
All right. Yeah, I think we're ready. Let's do this. American Heritage. Here we go. Lights raise on a table of senators inking a sale of arms. Slipping in footnotes, funding incentives to put those crops in the garbage and pay the farms. And in bursts a mother with babe in arms who can't pay rent or a grocery bill with her faith or charm. And they tell her, save your charms. Save the sob story for those who can help you. Our hands are tied to the puppet strings lifting our arms. And this is the crop that we reap when we vote on the promise of peaceful sleep and a reduction of harm. These are the promises gone into hiding when Biden decides to walk back a reduction of arms. We are the people left shouting on mute because we dared to sound the alarm. We tried decrying a crisis of homelessness, hundreds of people who used to be homeowners buying the farm. Biden was too busy patting us all on the back over shots in arms. We are the cattle they'll put out to pasture or lock in the barn, burn to collect the insurance, and then they'll just carry on. We can be sheep or be carrion. We can be meek or be clarion, haunting the ground we were buried on. We make the sound of the great beyond, echoing back to the chamber where all of those tireless senators stayed till dawn, drafting provisions, improving the living conditions of only constituents riding the crisis out down in their summer house sipping on Evian. I follow a man named Jatavion. He got pulled over and he made it home, but he knew it was almost the day that we don't want to come, but we all know will come and we're all sort of waiting on. The day that they snuff out your flame and explain they mistakenly thought that the safety was on. Half asleep and half mass hysteria. And back at the table, the senators label the final draft Project Valerian, with the subtle approach of a botched cesarean. Dressed in the suits that their hideous final forms were born in and will likely be buried in. Close your eyes, eat your news, chew your valerian. 2024, you'll be voting for either the Kamala bot or an outright Aryan. And they'll warn you democracy's up in the air again. But how many men will we see by then with an officer knelt on their neck while they're gasping for air again? And that pig on their back is a dog of the state whose purpose is just to attack, and he knows that fact, and it makes him invincibly arrogant. And as rabid as all of the fascists you train in your barracks and garrisons. Timeless indeed, like the Christian need to dehumanize those that they view as beneath them. Same old song that we sang to the Saracen. And you were today years old when you learned that for all of this time, we were the actual terrorists. We were the source of those flawlessly crafted disparaging narratives. We have sent presidents here and abroad into absolute power or off to meet God to arrange all these corporate marriages. I was mistaken to call it tradition. This is American heritage. This is the land where they lighten your language, pick apart all your paragraphs, gut every lyric of leverage. Smaller than all of those flecks of valerian they sent adrift in your beverage.
Each word I write that tries shedding some light on the pig they portray as a presidential paragon. Every word I write regarding Biden, he whose sable arms, blacker than the purpose of the warships in the naval yard, orchestrate our fate to try to sate the thirst of Raytheon, blacker than the water that we used to flood Iraq and trickled into Libya so Hillary could open up a nice global slave bazaar that we'll return to sack and pat ourselves all on the back because we liberated Libya. The slaves are gone. But what we didn't know until today was that all of the slaves that we said that we saved are really on a plane and they're halfway to Gitmo. We interrupt this story due to Kamala arriving in her limo with her Timbs on, and that's all your need-to-know info. This is a historic day, and you can say you saw it with the last of all your energy because you were busy starving, staring at the roast that all the senators were carving, to celebrate a bill that faced no opposition in Congress, to cut back your heat and your lights at a time when the nights are their longest. And if you don't know the tune that they are singing by name, after the grave, the Saracen can tell you what the song is. They'll tell you that it's loudest where the smell of the valerian is strongest, where they turn around and make an arms deal after promising an armistice, where the workers get the wall and the scabs solve stoppages, take it up with Congress and their fortified offices, blocked by riot cops who'd love to stand on your esophagus because that's what they've been training for and told equates to competence. You brought it on yourself by refusing your valerian. You brought it on yourself when you hesitated giving us your child for experiments. You brought it on yourself by denying your family exposure to all our new variants. You brought it on yourselves. It's American heritage. You brought it on yourselves. It's American heritage. It's American heritage.
And that's American heritage.
I feel like it's especially redundant when I repeat a line twice at the end, and then I still feel the need to be like, and that's title, which is line one more time.
Okay.
just to really drive it in there.
2024, you'll be voting for either the Kamala bot or an outright Aryan.
Mm-hmm.
You wrote that when again?
Let's see. Coming of spring. The
Initially?
original was November of 2021.
Okay. Just so everybody knows, this was not written after the switcheroo was made.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We all knew this was going to happen. We just didn't know how. We didn't think it was going to literally be a fucking palace coup.
Yep.
We thought they were going to try to trot her out and at least rig the primary so that people would have to vote for her.
Mm-hmm. We don't have to. We can literally not have one and then have Nancy Pelosi tell people we did, and a whole bunch of fucking people are like, oh, I guess we had a primary. You know, yeah, we had a primary. We totally, oh, no, we had a primary.
Well,
yeah, I remember it. Yeah, no one else wanted to touch her. We all love Kamala so much. Why would we have a fucking primary?
I mean, Marianne Williamson, Robert F. Kennedy. There was another guy in there too.
People just primary. Yep. And then they're just sure. Yep, they believe it.
Unreal.
So fucking sad.
Yep. But that one got me like, damn. Also, chew your valerian and eat your news. Puffy.
Oh yeah, he's on suicide watch. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, but like, you said something about putting valerian in your drink.
Oh yeah.
And also Puffy. That also immediately. So goddamn. The man's a sage. I don't know how he does it. You must have some kind of a crystal ball and not the one that's married to Kyle Kalinske.
Oh god. Yeah, I wouldn't take one of those crystal balls if you paid me.
Ooh. Well, now you can upgrade for a Caitlin Collins. She's at least a younger model.
Oh, all right. Let's I mean, while we're here, let's bomb squad.
Sure. Let me flip up to Bomb Squad. We've done that a few times.
More Kamala.
Pretty sure I put that on Clip Show Friday night. if I remember correctly. I don't even remember what. Last week we did Benjamin Button, and I traumatized Cynic with the thumbnail.
He traumatized me with that thumbnail.
Dude, it's
I'm like, isn't that?
It's literally a
I've
photo
seen-
from the movie.
I've seen the kids in Stranger Things burn that guy to death. I know I've seen that. That's not Benjamin Button, sir. That is called the Vecna.
Right? No, that's like it's like when he's the old man with the little boy, the old man face with the little boy's body, like, you know, he's like 8 or 9, and yeah, I haven't seen that movie like in a long time. I barely remember it, but I was just like, you know, we're going backwards in time was you know, and what's funny is after I produced the whole thing, I put it, I'm like, fuck, I didn't even put backwards from 5 in there. Like, what's the matter with me? Like, we're counting back from 5. Like, that would have fit perfectly, but I had already cut the whole thing, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to go back. I'll do it next week.
Oh, man. Okay.
Benjamin Button, man, I'm running out of ideas. I'm telling you. I'm scraping it. All right. I've got Bomb Squad up, and there we go. No, that's not it.
All right.
That's one of them, but here, this is the better one.
Because here we are again. Yeah, same record as American Heritage, so same time period. Yeah, and this is hopefully the only time we'll have to say President Harris. But definitely this is the first time I did.
You know, I wanna say one thing about that, because there have been a lot of people. Trump has been doing it and trying to pin and calling it the Harris administration. And I've noticed like people in our space going along and being like, "Oh, Kamala hasn't done anything." Of course not. She's the vice president, and she's still the vice president. Like, she's not even running her own campaign. Let's call it for what it is.
Biden's, what's a good word for it? The fact that Biden is as, what's the opposite of present? as vacuous of a presidency
Absent,
as Biden's had the last couple weeks. I think it shows that, like, not only did Kamala not really have a hand in things before as vice president, she's not going to have any different hand in it if she becomes president. Like, there's someone calling the shots right now who ain't her, and it ain't gonna be her if she wins. That's not the world we live in. That's not our country.
It's a multi-headed monster between Antony Blinken and Jake Sullivan and Jill right now. You know, look, he invited her to sit at the table. We saw that this week. Holy shit. Like, first, like literally like Eleanor Roosevelt, the president's letting her sit at the head of the table. Okay. All right. So here we go. Bomb Squad.
All right, Bomb Squad, let's do it. Sick of the lie, and I mean the big lie. I'm sick of the talk and sick of the sight. So let it be said, I was a lyrical blade at the neck of the right. And I was a lyrical needle that entered the temple and opened the mind. The interim lord of the flies, erecting a hall to the dead in a culture of trauma survivors who struggle each day to survive. Held under pressure by suited oppressors who peddle in blame with a little bit of victim shame on the side. You can't quite measure the spite each day when you find that you've opened your eyes. In a nation refusing to honor the worth of your life. In a nation refusing to lessen the wealth of a handful to wash off the stains of our poverty lines. But they're happy to tweet on the issues and pat themselves all on the back for the bill they designed with zero intention to sign, but all too content to soak up all the media shine. Like a bomb squad only reporting to find the device and state that they found the device, watch the device, publicly shame and denounce the device, tweet every day on the risk that could rise, and then land on the cover of Vogue for their fearlessness, power, and style while facing that awful device. And behind closed doors, they can laugh with that awful device. They can shake hands with that very device that eats millions of struggling Americans' lives.
And one day, when it blows sky high, they can wring all their hands at that toolkit sitting nearby, with a manual walking them through the disarming and proper disposal, and all point fingers and all place blame over why it had never been tried. But if all of those hostages had those tools, we would not think twice. Instead, we were left in the dark with our hands all tied. And they bring a few ball gags once in a while, and we open our mouths and we don't ask why. A few don't mind. A few start cheering the silence, who view it as some kind of positive sign. And a few shout prayers to a squad that had sworn they were here to help and they were on our side. And suddenly we could hear vehicles come up the drive. We saw the flashing of lights. We thought that help had arrived, only to find there was a media frenzy to see AOC wear her hair to the side. And Kamala Harris was not in attendance, but she sent her shoes in a bulletproof limo with heavy security detail that all of our taxes were gracious enough to provide. And along with her warmest regards, she sent a surprise. A shipment of muzzles and gags, and all of them signed, "Cheer for your squad or shut up and bite. President Harris." That's what I'll read through the tears in my eyes while I'm opening wide, accepting my penance for daring to warn that the squad will be cutting your heat in the night before they take a blade to those wires. And our only hope to dismantle their precious device is in snipping the red and the blue, 'cause they're fully entwined. To cut out the red and the blue in our minds wherever we find. So here's to combining our hands and cutting the line. Here's to denying the motor the oil it needs to be primed. Here's to a wrench in the gears of your capital, hearing it grind. Here's to the feeling of loosing your collar and breaking your binds. Here's to the bliss of forgetting your number and knowing it's fine. Knowing your name. Living your life for a purpose beyond someone's profits, of which your retirement warrants a hollow farewell, an equivalent gift of a dime. Here's to the bliss of us cutting the line. Like President Harris, I'm biding my time. Here's to the promise of breaking our binds. That's Bomb Squad.
Yeah, she's definitely biding her time. She's trying to run the clock out. That's exactly what she's trying to do, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's sorry, I've messed up a couple times reading these because like I'm like, oh damn, oh god, there were a couple times I'm like, shit, it's creepy, it's a little creepy.
Well, they don't try to hide it, do they? I mean that's what I see.
They really don't.
Like they're really telling you right out, straight up, what they want to do and what they're gonna do, and you call it out for what it is, and then 2.5 years later, you're like, oh, yeah, that's what they meant. It's very Whitney Webbian of you in a way.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the nicest things you've ever said to me, Andy.
That's what they were trying to say. That's what he meant. Oh,
little old me.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Oh, you know what's great? Every now and then, someone, like one of my favorite things on Twitter is when someone who you hold in a fairly high regard retweets you, but it's one of your tweets that you're like. Not to say you're ashamed of it, because you stand by your words, but one of your raunchier tweets, let's say, you know,
okay.
one of your grimier tweets. There was a guy who had posted something about how, you know, basically Palestinians need to get over it. It's your grandfather's land or whatever. Things change. Don't move on. And it was like, start a business, start a new life. Don't get stuck on the past in your old home. It was just some guy being an asshole, you know. But I quote tweeted him, and I said, every day on this app, someone feels compelled to come announce to everyone that they're just a big garbage bag swollen to the brim with dog shit. And it's called a take, apparently. It's known as a take. And Ava Bartlett retweeted it.
Nice.
I got a notification that she liked and retweeted one of my posts, and I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. I wonder if it was like one of my pieces or something. It was that. I was so proud and a little ashamed at the same time. It was such a mix of emotions.
Yeah.
It's like, here's this journalist who you like have in high esteem. They're talking about swollen trash bags full of dog shit.
I was thinking it was Caitlin Johnstone because that would totally track for Caitlin.
Early on, it happened a couple times too that my early morning like rage tweet that you're familiar with, that first tweet of the morning,
The
before you've had a chance.
tweet. That's
yeah,
right.
when it's just like you're out for blood or trying to get suspended. Tara consistently will be like, "Fuck yeah," and hit retweet on some of those for me.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, there was one time, I don't even remember what the tweet was, but I was considering deleting it because I'm like, maybe that's a little too spicy for this early. But when I saw that Tara greenlit it, I was like, all right, let's go. Let's fucking go. Oh, man.
That's outstanding. I love it. Yep. She is great. And yes, she sat down with Reef and Colin recently and they did an hour-long one-on-one or two-on-one, and that got some rave reviews, and you know, it clipped up really nicely, and go check out all the clips from that. And I think we still have a couple to put out.
Let's see here.
So I have been on a Life in the Red kick, especially since you told me you wrote Life in the Red too. Like I can't.
I did.
Even if, oh my God, I just got hit again. No, Anthony. Oh my God. You're
What?
parked. You're parked. What the hell, man? Golden Monarch is here. Welcome. Welcome to everyone that's here hanging out. Of course, Charlie Mack is in the house. Charlie Mack is family. Heidi's here. Yes, you need to go back and watch that full interview. Everyone should. That's mandatory viewing. Just like the Keith McHenry interview was all over the place, but that was mandatory. This was much more structured and controlled. They had all their questions written out and prepared, and they got Eva Bartlett to smile more than I've ever seen her smile in 4 years. All right.
awesome.
They asked her about like her family and what does your family think of what you're doing? And like, are they worried like for your safety? Like, are they cool with you, you know, how you report and how hard you go? Like, and it's a great to watch her response. Definitely go check that out. You can watch it on INN YouTube, on Rumble. You can actually find it on INN Newsletter. I uploaded the full thing as a podcast and as a video, so you can watch the full hour-long video there, commercial-free. Share it via email, and censor-free. Substack is a censor-free platform. I keep yelling this at people. Again, I'm not going to get off my soapbox that while people keep getting deplatformed, you know where they're not getting kicked off of? Substack. I haven't heard of one creator ever getting kicked off of there that wasn't literally like a neo-Nazi spouting Hitler stuff. And we can email all our people. You can have video there. You can do podcasts there. We write articles, and then they have notes, which is like Twitter, only better. Because there's no character limits, like 5,000 character limit. The only thing is you can't embed tweets, which sucks because Twitter doesn't like Substack. But everything else works okay. And they're working on making it better, and they got good people there that listen. Unlike Twitter, where they're a bunch of assholes, or YouTube, where they're a real bunch of assholes. They're censorious assholes at YouTube. All right, and fuck YouTube and fuck Meta for kicking off African Stream and Red Media and DD Geopolitics. And today I saw Mark Sloboda, his channel got completely removed without a strike, a warning, or anything. It's crazy. Anyone who's connected to Russia, it's, you know, it's got to have their heads on a swivel and be everywhere like we are.
Okay. One man's silent auction is another's trial, in a system designed to see you suicidal. And funny, we don't hear a peep out of Kendrick Bay or Jay-Z, but we just see a lot of silent idols with all their heads up their asses like the fascists made them hide somewhere parallel to pile an idol, like they've let us off the lead, but you know that in your heart you will always taste the bridle.
Now I am not JPEG Mafia or honorary PNG Yakuza. Label owns your masters and your masters want their profits up. So they say you can't diss Biden, you have to stay silent. So shut your fucking mouth and watch me cough it up. God, I'll kill it, then I'll bury it, piss right on the grave, shit, I'll maybe dig the coffin up. They want you and me softened up, that's why they try crying unity. Preach that to my face and watch me catch a case faster than we should have ended qualified immunity. You can hide from the truth, but I'll pull you out in school. You wanna, you can call it truancy. Ash as far as you can see, out across the ruins. Let it sink in till it ruins all your dopamine. You know I take my haze a wider shade of aubergine. My words are just the go-between for all this fucking acid and out-of-date famotidine. Say my piece, drop the mic, bleed out all my chromosomes and blow the scene. I will not be coming back, so love us or leave us or mislead us to Iraq. I'm violence over science if your faith over facts. We're all up for auction, honey, we cannot relax. Biden and I didn't cut a track. I just stared into the ether, hearing everyone react, hearing that collective sigh of liberal satisfaction, cause you all went fucking batshit for a bigot geriatric who magically regains his faculties to slap your daughter's ass, and even though she's 8, you let it happen. Just like all these fucking garbage politicians serve their kids up on a platter during photo ops designed to let them leech a little power and significance directly from the head slave master, the author of imprisonment, who partnered with the sentencer of innocence, telling you they're here to heal the soul of old America. And clearly that's just code for we are here to watch you starve and serve our bigot benefactors. Now cue the canned Kamala laughter, comma distractor, comma less schools, more jails, more fracking, more wars, comma blood dollars, comma Kamala laughing. Fuck it, honey, more reactors. Biden says build back better, but the man learned better from the likes of those who stood for Jim Crow by the letter. So you cannot convince me that a man who spent a lifetime swallowing the sermons of a guy like Strom Thurmond ends up anything but Kissinger with Mr. Rogers' sweater. I'm out the party and I won't be coming back. Let them love us or leave us or mislead us to Iraq. Let Kamala deceive us with some sneakers and a laugh. They will not address the other half. If they acknowledge our predicament, they have to say why they dismissed us. And nobody in Congress has the guts to look the nation in the face and explain how they let us waste away to afford all the comforts they need to maintain all their opulence and stingy, inhumane existence. So it's gonna be an ugly fucking Christmas. And we will not be coming back, so love us or leave us or mislead us to Iraq. I'm violence over science if your faith over facts. We're all up for auction, buddy, we cannot relax. No, we will not be coming back. Let them love us or leave us or mislead us to Iraq. I'm violence over science if your faith over facts. We're all up for auction, Harris, we will not relax. That's Ugly Fucking Christmas. The rabbit version.
No, it sure was, dude. That was the angry ugly. That was ugly.
Ultra Rabies Mega Mix.
Ultra angry, ugly fucking Christmas. All right. That was cathartic, right? I was like, it
Oh boy, let me tell you.
kind of felt like therapeutic there. I might even put that one out as a single with lyrics underneath it. I don't know if we're... Dude, timing that's really hard. Reef tried to do that with Look Fat, and it just took him forever just to do one song.
Honestly, I can't remember the name of the app that I used for the Dust to Better Days video. It's fucking so easy. It's so nice. There's a ton to work with, and it's literally you pick exactly when in the video timeline you want to drop it. And it's like spot on. I mean, I was able to do little cool stagger effects with certain words, and it was really easy to do.
Nice.
So yeah, remind me afterwards. I'll suss that out and
Yeah,
let
flick
you know.
that over here. I'll figure that out. Play with it.
That's what she said. Sorry, I can't. You can't just leave that there. It's low-hanging fruit, but it's still fruit. That's what she said. Oh, so before I do another piece, I have to share a fun bucket list moment that I achieved this weekend, and it was one of those that you didn't know it's on your bucket list. Like, you simultaneously check it off as you write it in. It's one seamless move. So Jess and I had our anniversary last week, but it was a day that we both worked. So, like, weekend, we actually went out for the anniversary. Well, we'd had to take Catstro to the vet that day for a checkup, and he fucking hates the vet, so it's stressful. And we got home, and, like, we were both kind of wiped, and she was like, I might just be up for dinner. That might be the extent of it. We might not really go anywhere else to do anything else. I'm like, that's fine. If we just eat and come back and hang out, we have time together. That's all that matters. So we finished dinner, and she's like, yeah, I'm probably ready to head home. So we walk past a little bar on the way to the car, and they have a karaoke DJ just setting up. And she's like, tell you what, we'll go in and we'll have a drink, and we'll watch a couple people do karaoke, and then we'll go.
Okay.
So a bachelorette party is in this bar from Chicago, and they are all dressed as different Jim Carrey roles, which was just hilarious. Right away felt like I was back in Florida. It was very like, there's the Grinch, there's the Mask, there's Horton, sans The Who. It was just the perfect, like, every Jim Carrey role you could imagine was represented. Karaoke DJ starts, gets a couple songs in, and Jess is like, are you going to sing a song? I'm like, well, I mean, my karaoke go-to is At Last. And I don't want to, like, embarrass you, but also I'm like, yes, I do, because it's our anniversary celebration. So I go up and do At Last and, like, lock eyes with her and really ham it up.
That's actually,
next thing you know,
the song my wife and I, that's our wedding song. Funny enough.
That's awesome. So then the bar starts yelling for an encore. So the DJ gives me Valerie, and I do Valerie. And next thing you know, like, a few of my wife's friends happen to walk in, and then she's like, okay, fucking let's get some whiskey going. All of a sudden it's a night out. Well, the karaoke DJ proceeds to do A Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong, and the best Louis Armstrong impression I've ever heard, because it wasn't overdone, it wasn't, like, too gravelly, it was like everyone started slow dancing. It was just fucking beautiful. This guy really nailed it.
Nice.
And after he gets done, he calls me over and he goes, hey, are you going to be here for a while? I was like, yeah. He goes, you know Gangster's Paradise by Coolio? Oh, of course. He goes, if I do Coolio's part, can you sing the chorus? I was like,
What?
absolutely I can. Yes, sir.
Wait.
So he calls me up, and we proceed to do Gangster's Paradise, and I got to sing all the sung parts of it, right? And we get done and start chatting a little while. He moonlights as a karaoke DJ. He is a minister. So I go to the bucket list in my head and write in, perform Coolio song with minister. I make a checkbox, and I check that motherfucker in one fell swoop. I'm like, bam!
I didn't even know I wanted to do
That's how we did, exactly. Oh, it was so much fun. It was hilarious. So yeah, we had a really good night out, and it was just one of those, everything kind of came together. But yeah, oh man, Gangster's Paradise was so much fun. Oh my god.
And thanks to another one, Weird Al has ruined that song for me with an Amish Paradise. I can never think I've churned butter once or twice living in an Amish paradise. It's like,
it was all I could do not to sing that one of the times.
Nice. I mean, you could throw a little tribute out there. I don't think that would be out of the realm, but
I did. The guy was like, do you want to do one more? And I was like, yeah. So I had to do Sunday Morning by Maroon 5.
Okay.
And I came up, and there's the moment you have before the song starts. And I'm like, real quick, this is my promo time. Check me out on Spotify if you like songs that say fuck the government. Also fuck the government. Speaking of speaking of bands that don't like the government, here's Maroon 5. And then I started singing. Yeah.
Why don't they like the government?
I was just being funny.
Oh,
I'm sure they love the government.
I'm sure they love the government. What's his name? Adam Levine.
That's the T-shirt. Maroon 5 loves the government.
No, fuck the government. Maroon 5. Just make them say some shit they didn't say.
Right?
Wait, Maroon 5 hates the government? See, like I just did. You just made a thing.
Mm-hmm. I should have, when people had their cameras out and were filming something. Maroon 5 hates the government.
Speaking of which, T-shirts. Anna Mayers put on Twitter, she got her How Do We Miss That tank top. So really appreciate that. And she did not know there was a New American Tradition one with the INN logo on the back. Mm-hmm. So check that out. indienews.shop. I think the link is down at the bottom in that scrolling ticker somewhere. There it is. Hey, indienews.shop. Yes, there it is. All right.
Shoppa. Let's... Oh, didn't you say you wanted me to do Life in the Red?
Dude, I would love to hear you do. And the liberals said, okay. Thank you, Obama, for Life in the Red. Yes. I've been driving Reef crazy for like 2 weeks.
Hang on.
Boom, boom, boom. And it's so fast. The beginning of it is really fast. It's funny. The album version is faster than anything I remember him doing for a while. He's tuning up and seeing what chords he plays.
I'm trying to remember where I played that.
Yeah. The Stevie Wonder head swivel, very funny. With Coolio? I don't know. So while Jesse's playing, check out indiemediaawards.substack.com. All of the Zago Brothers cartoon illustrations for all the Indie Media Award honorees are up now for 2022 and 23. I have the 24 ones that I am looking at. I'm starting to do the vetting and the background checks on all of them to see what the story is with them, and so far so good. We're still targeting the end of October for the live stream when we plan to do that. And now it's the 2024 honorees and have them all published. I started writing up and putting the Substack posts for the outlets. There are going to be 5 of them that are going to be included this year. So we're going to do that up at the end of October. I'm really excited about that. And shout out to Zago Brothers. They look beautiful. I mean, the art is just stunning. Some of my favorites personally, you know, I love the Eva Bartlett one that was used on most of the thumbnails. Looks great. Same thing with Vanessa. He did a beautiful job on Vanessa Beeley. Whitney Webb, it looks just like her profile pic on Twitter. It's amazing how he did that. Yeah, go and check all those out. From JB Font to Scott Horton, and Dave DeCamp from Anti-War said that he made Kyle Anzalone look like James Bond, which was one of my favorite feedbacks. Case Study QB, blown away by how he looks. Yeah, Zago Brothers did amazing work. I love the way the RBN one looks. Today at the Indie Media Award Twitter, I put out the picture of the Gray Zone, all the Gray Zone people together, and it's like all 6 of them. So you've got Wyatt Reed and the 3 that were on the initial poster of Aaron, Max, and Anya, but then also he did Kit Clarenberg and Alex Rubinstein. So I have all of them as individual shots, and then all 6 together, which is incredible. And he did the logo too. He did the logos. I mean, dude was a beast, and absolutely his output was insane. I know people who do output like that. He just went, he just went for it. And I love it. They look great, and he was great to work with. So if you need any artwork done, if you want to have somebody, make somebody a cool gift, he's reasonable. He'll work with you, and send him a picture and something he can work with. And I'm sure he can do something like that for you. So I'll give my buddy Lucio a little plug. All right.
liberal said, thank you, Obama, for life in the red. Thank you for DAP and a pat on the head. Thank you for saving the banks as millions are drowning their debt. Thank you for all of the fluff and the nothing you said. Thank you for proving we eat up identity politics. All of your policies better forgotten. Please tell us what books you read. Tell us what record was top of your playlist for turning a wedding to Day of the Dead. What Quavo song went along on a heavy rotation when bombing Iraqis in bed? Now when they told you that 90% of your kills were civilians, what Jill Scott chorus was stuck in your head? What put you at rest after such a long day of convincing a nation it wasn't so deeply misled? That you weren't just Reagan with new age media training who fed on our hopes like his daily bread, who preyed on the weak, who was never unwilling to serve you a speech to remind you the middle class needed to bleed, and you helped us succeed if you learned to accept it, and better yet learn how to laugh as they bled. Round of applause, laughter erupts, mic gets dropped, it's the end of a set. The crowd, once hungry, are now on stun from the glow of celebrity, which is impressive, especially since they're contented to sit and be civil while all of the donors are fed. They'll thin out the herd by 1 million a week if it gives the elite an illusion of peace. Like they're out of the path of the future we reap. Like they won't be debris in the wake of its tread. The future is now, bathe in the sound, drown in the dread. Hide in the lounge, hire more guards at the gatehouse, hire someone to come build you a safe house under your shed, where you can hide with your diamonds and files, the files you keep to yourself and the files you keep for the feds. Hide in the dark for a while and watch all their value regress. Watch all the worth of your wealth on this earth melt down in the pool with the rest of the cess. The effluence left over after the worldly collapse of the affluent. After it's back to the dirt with the rights of their birth, privileged smirks and their unpaid taxes, hashtag blessed. This has all been a nightmare, capitalism was only a test. So you need not weep and you need not repeat what the liberals said. We will not be saved by people who say that the water is safe while they look in your face and pantomime sips of lead. Honey, nobody's lifting us out of this mess. That is life in the red.
Dude, so good. Watch all the worth of your wealth on this earth melt down in a pool with the rest of the cess. Like the way that the cadence that you do that with on the album just gets me every time. That one, and I love this one. Hide with your diamonds and files. The files for that you keep to yourself, and the files you keep for the feds.
That's actually a MASH influenced line. There's an episode, one of many, I feel like, where Frank Burns is sick as fuck and delirious. I think it's the hemorrhagic fever episode that I actually sampled for COVID Cabana, about the man drowning in his own tissues. That's from that same episode. Anyone worried about sampling didn't hear that. But anyways, he says something. He's making up his will, and he gives instructions about where he has money buried in the backyard, and that there's a pound of ground chuck frozen in the basement freezer. If you thaw it out, there's the real files in there. Not the files I show to the IRS, but my real files, like the real folder.
The files you keep for the feds. That's right. All right. And that's the Accord Lord. Oh, dude. For the return of Mr. Jett, $20. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. One of the best.
Thank you.
All right. Now, are you going to debut Life in the Red 2? Or are we going to hold that off for the album? How we want to do that?
You know what? I feel like we should. I was kind of going back and forth on it today, but you know, that's part of the fun is then coming back later and hearing it in its larval state, you know, before it's like all done.
Yeah, like you did spoken word Depop, and then to hear it now after Depop's an album version is really cool, actually. That's one of those.
Especially this one. This one ends abruptly because it's going to end abruptly on the record. The dial will get yanked, and all of a sudden it'll just be gone. And this one especially is probably the longest piece, if not one of the longest pieces lined up for the record. So that would make sense. So.
Anna's saying you teased backwards from 5. Have you played that on the show live? I don't think you have. Maybe once. Like pre-album. Really? Yeah. Oh, Cynic is requesting it too. You know.
Hang on just one second.
Okay. Count back from 5. Theater's on fire. The cast on strike. I can't quite do the same, and we're not going to do karaoke tonight. That'll be another night. Bad Cookies keeps asking for it.
All right, let's do it again. This will be a little rough and raw, but this is the name of the game. This is early version of Life in the Red Part 2.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Let me zoom in on the here.
They beg you, breed your contagion, swallow your sanctions, patience your bed. Well, now's your only occasion. Flay your complacence, burn what you read. It's life in the life in the
So take a January 6 plus October 7. Give or take a 9/11. Divided by November 22nd. Multiplying every second. Until the reckoning is boiled off and melted. And no, that wasn't thunder, that's a tremor of the heavens. But God, it's precious that you think you really felt it. Precious how you think you saw the truth and think you held it. All they had to let you do was smell it. And then off you went to tell your friends they best start getting jealous as you smugly scarfed your, God damn it, as you smugly scarfed your scoop of pellets. Now baby, history repeats and that you'll ever learned a lesson. No, I guess it's best reflected in them telling you those kids you saw in pieces were the future wave of terrorists. And you don't even question, you just trust the experts, you're open to suggestion. You're patiently pulled into the maelstrom's misdirection. But in the way a kiss won't always guarantee affection, some vetted information harbors cancerous intentions. Cause some would sooner see you to the wall than see you let go. Some would lure you way out to the well because they said so. Shove you down that fucker just to bask in all that echo. I see them toast each other bloody. What's afloat in their Prosecco? What was that you saw when peeking out from in the hedgerow? That led you into frenzy, tracing markings on the headstones. You won't get any service here, it's what you'd call a dead zone. As quiet as the grave, and that the grave sounds like death row. Muffled cries for mercy and survival in its death throes. What they're really serving here would see you to your bed sewn. No more need to see the world beyond the ones your dreams shown, where there will be no sun and you'll be peaceful in your beach home. Mai Tai in your mind, and as you nurse, the ivy drips slow. Ivy grows unchallenged through the door and in the windows. Really, any way the wind blows, nothing really matters. You're reduced to something slightly more developed than a sim clone. Cause how we frame the image of a child with their limbs blown all depends on skin tone. All depends on where you get your info. Now the AI smart nurse keeps a log and says at night your skin glows. Otherwise you're fine, although your mind is somewhat ingrown. Dreaming of a future where we're each assigned a Bing drone, made to search the searcher every millisecond's in tone. Dial M for murder, you can customize your ringtone. You can find out why the cage bird sings while choking on its wing bones. And that's where we'll change the station.
It's almost like scratching the record there, you know?
Yep.
That's cool.
I might choke myself a little out on that last line while choking on its wing bones. I really want to just grab my throat really hard at the last word and then
choking on its wing bones. Nice. I love it. Okay, cool. Sean the Accord Lord over on Kick. Kick.com/Indie News Network. We're trying to catch Kit Cabello, and we want to beat Hardlands Media to 1 million. We can do it, folks. We can do it. We're all on our way. We're gonna do it together, but we want to do it one day ahead of Kit. We want to do it together. So everybody go subscribe if you're not already on Kick. It's actually kind of like very much similar to Twitch in format, and you know you can do like GIF emojis, and everybody says the chat is better and it's not censored like here on YouTube that most people are on. There's the link for Kick if you're not there already. Monarch, you need to find a Bitcoin emoji for INN. That's really funny. No, a no Bitcoin emoji maybe. You know, a Bitcoin and crypto is a Zionist Ponzi scheme. There we go. That's getting into our buddy. Look at that. Looks like Caitlin Johnstone just started publishing back to her Telegram. Good for you, Caitlin. Good to see her over there. Caitlin is a legend, and we love her. Also, another Indie Media Award honoree. And
I'm dropping a piece in the folder.
Cool.
I read this. I don't think it was the last show. Maybe show before last. But if we're doing a Kamala piece, I have to include this one.
Well, what are we getting?
Just dropped in.
Okay. Drive.
For those who weren't here the night I did it, this was a piece I wrote in the few days following Julian's release. There were a lot of mixed emotions. I found myself more skeptical and hesitant than I would have liked to be, to the degree that it was a bizarre and surreal sense of like disconnect from everyone that I've been following all of this with, because I just felt like I don't know, it's like you're not in the Christmas spirit or something. There was just that part of me that's like, this has got to be a trap or something's not right. Was just consuming any sense of like relief or just my ability to process good news. And then that made me think about like how shattered is that nerve anymore? You know, how distrustful are we of everything at this point, that anything positive feels like a psyop or feels like a fucking trick. And is that one of the biggest losses in this that I hadn't really thought of until that point, you know? Was that it's really hard to process a win when you're not used to getting them, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, I don't know, is this what it's supposed to feel like? But there's a nod in here to Kamala's famous line about, you know, seeing the future unburdened, seeing what can be, the ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been, which is basically like forget all the evidence of the past. Please, please, I beg of you.
Something
So-
screwed up with the document. I messed up.
Oh.
Okay, hold on. I can just undo. Now we're back. Okay. Now I want to. Whoa. 200. That's too much. Okay, 150.
We got a bidding
that's
war going,
good.
folks. Oh, no, we're down.
And then let me.
Sorry for my congestion again.
Let's try that. Okay, that looks good.
Okay.
That
So, yeah.
works.
Without further ado, here's my whole flurry of of thoughts and feelings.
Now you're gonna make me want to cry again.
In
Now,
a few days.
Now, I want everyone to realize that today, and I'm guessing Jesse noticed this, but they announced that Julian will actually be appearing in like Sunday. Like we're gonna see him and hear him, and allegedly, Sunday at like I don't even know what time, but sometime in the afternoon. It should be before we go live for How Do We Miss That Sunday night. But he's going to be addressing like torture in prison and what? Wow. Okay. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Right.
So here you go. So with all of that, and it has been a painful 3 months, by the way.
Yeah.
It's been basically 90 days since we saw him get on that plane. And other than a couple of still photos, we really haven't seen anything or heard much other than like Stella putting something out. And then today, Gabriel made an announcement that that on the in 5 days, he will be appearing in Europe, or at least I don't know if that'll be remotely or if he'll actually be like there in person, which wow.
Yeah.
Damn. But all right.
So yeah, and I really played off of the mention in Conviction that our First Amendment rights are by his side behind bars. Thinking about that and then him getting out, and I couldn't help but wonder where does that leave our rights, because they're still in Belmarsh. So anyways, this is the win, all we get before we go. We almost never cop a W. The Fourth Estate is subterfuge. Like, what the fuck's a win? So when we got our taste of paradise, joy was in the air, and I just could not let it in. I was Trapper John McIntyre, shrugging off the ceasefire, sulking in my gin, sitting waiting for the rapid fire, peace talks on the tapping wire lost into the wind. Now journalism's greatest sin is putting truth to print. Camp on full parade like happy days are here again, and I was watching from my tent, knowing this is not the end. With thoughts that dwell on freedoms that our laws do not defend, who have lost their closest cellmate, only confidant and friend. He is leaving on a jet plane, and they might not meet again. He is off to plead his guilt for thinking we might take a stand, the crime to have assumed the best of man. Now, I'm not VP Harris, so I needn't try pretend that I can see this world unburdened by the truth of what has been, that I don't see a future where they've cashed in our consent, where you could land in Belmarsh for possession of a pen. The leads are buried deep beneath the tongues that spoke dissent, and Jesus, you will not forget the scent. But if I so know our ruling class, then what did I expect? How did this play out within the confines of my head? Did I expect the Davos gang to tearfully repent? Did I expect the CIA to graciously relent? To bow out like, you got us, guess we'll just be on our way, then clean out all their desks and march themselves down to The Hague? Did deep down somehow I still think some rules-based law pervades, in spite of all the evidence that overwhelms my brain? They do not need a precedent to bury us in chains, like they do not need a president to carry out their aims. That corpse up on the stage is our commander just in name, and the ones who pull his strings are running out of things to say.
His very touch has desiccated fundamental change, while the donors pick the profits off the bones of Boeing's planes. Now, I have no way of knowing who will place us in our grave, but I know who fronts the cost, and I know who bears the blame, and I know who picks the picture our memorial displays, and I know who quotes the scripture as the mosques go up in flames, and I know who plays the victim as their bulldozing remains, and I know who owns our votes, and either way, it's all the same. Then we got a taste of victory. But I just tasted doubt. Like I popped too many red pills, now I'm foaming at the mouth. Now I'm combing through the videos to satisfy myself, as though anything I'd find could ever help. I am a stranger in my skin when there's a victory on the breeze. My nerves are pulled so thin I barely touch, much less perceive. But everyone I know is feeling genuine relief, and God, I wish so much that could be me. But deformed by my suspicions, I can't lift my head to hope. I am waiting for that other shoe to drop down on our throats. It is very much a win to see him finally going home. But perhaps the bigger win is not our own. Perhaps we won a battle, but the war is set in stone, buried under Gaza's beaches, refugees, and bones. Perhaps we never stood a chance, and speech is bought and sold. Perhaps they target journalists to stop our history cold. And every anchor drags you down to share what they've been told, the basic facts you need to know to keep you in the fold, shaped by those intent to not see Gazans growing old as the Nazi referendum takes its hold. Well, suppose one day those anchors cannot find the will to speak. They cannot muster up the gloss to brighten so much bleak. Suppose they reach a point where they can't act like nothing's wrong, just to find their voice was silent all along. Perhaps we'll reach a point where we're surviving off of leaks, where even something whispered beckons welcome of a breach. We'll finally get the picture and we'll understand our needs, but find that we lack access to free speech. So for now, I feel no sudden flash of hope grab hold of me, and I don't feel any safer than I did this time last week. But when I saw them finally free to touch each other's cheek, I think I felt a win, and I will learn to let it be. Perhaps the little victories are the only ones we'll know. Perhaps there is no greater win than finally being home, than holding close a loved one who you lost so long ago. Suppose that's all we get before we go. And that's the win.
Yeah. That is really kind of fitting, you know. Is that all we get? You know, we were thinking that, well, maybe we're gonna get a little more. And that's the hope.
I fucking hope so.
And,
I really hope so.
And, you know, all this fighting and all the, you know, I know just him out alone is definitely a win, but
For sure.
is it the win we all wanted? Well, no,
I'm
because
glad that, you know, that he's doing what he's doing, that going to speak. It's nice to know that he's allowed to, that he can go and do something like that, you know, that he's not muzzled as a condition of release. So I'm really eager to see how that turns out.
yeah, for sure.
Well, I think I'm spent.
And I'm spent. And I'm spent. I was just gonna say that was very much an Austin Powers. And I'm spent. He throws the camera.
Right.
All right. Well, let's see. I don't even have it up this week, but I can go to the newsletter and newsletter and show you what do I have? I have actually no. So tomorrow we've got INN News at 9. And then Thursday, now Crab and Snow Himbo they moved Politically Homeless to Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. So now they're going to be doing it twice a week. And that'll be the day after tomorrow. And then Thursday nights, we won't have anything after their show, 6 o'clock, potentially. Now, again, tomorrow, Reef is on hurricane watch, so unless they sound the all clear by tomorrow, which we're doubting, it'll probably end up being a clip show. I think it's going to be about press freedom and talking about stories that and the infiltration potentially of the intel community in with our social media companies, they've done quite a few episodes about that. So, you know, how TikTok is infiltrated. I think Rob Durden, or maybe even you were on that week, Jesse. And an Alan McLeod article about how TikTok is full of ex-State Department employees. And with people getting yanked off of TikTok constantly, that has become pretty damn relevant. I don't think I actually cut up this week yet, but it's in Canvas. Screw it, I'll just go to Canvas, bring it up there. Show everyone what the rest of the week looks like. Thursday, again, we're gonna have Politically Homeless, and then Friday we'll have Angel in the afternoon. And I still have to figure out what I want to do for a clip show. It's only Tuesday, so we got plenty of time.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. Anna Mears wants backwards from 5.
She wants backwards from 5.
She's going to get it.
Well, that's good. That gave me time to bring stuff up, too.
Let's do it.
And I get, oh yeah, the Benjamin Button thumbnail, because we ran this Thursday night. It's Saturday night, by the way. There's Benjamin Button. Nice. We're going to get backwards from 5. Take it.
Funny if Anna Maris just left. I haven't seen her say anything after she said bye to everyone. I wonder if she tipped out right as I decided to do it.
Nah, she's here. She just said, yay, woohoo.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's see. I haven't played this since the Due Dissidence show in New York. Fun fact.
That's right. I did record it live there.
That's how it goes. We won't open our eyes, so we're the last ones to know. We're the last ones alive. Kept our enemies close. Wondered why we don't thrive while we're grasping at ghosts. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5.
Count back from 5. The theater on fire, the cast on strike. Studio stock starts taking a dive. The contract's tossed and it's gone with the tide. Heads and execs say our hands are tied. We can't pump this dreck and treat you right. But what do you expect from the industry type who survive by the leeching of bodies and minds from those who original thoughts never seem to find? So they're gonna reboot ALF before your wages rise. But it gives cause to pause and reflect on the times. They're losing control of their fools and their mimes, when all those obedient actors who grew their careers by averting their eyes are now holding the line. Right along with the authors of countless scripts that strengthen the hand of the corporate grip, squeezing our throats till we take the pen and we accept and consent to the corporate drip. Till you're all up to date on your pharma du jour. Till you got a healthy support for the war on your lips. Now you know that the advertisers need more than a rerun summer full of flashback clips. Enter the scans from the year before, all the days of de-aging and mapping the face. The hours of actors recording their voices are links in the chains that will bind them in place. And now all of those shows are so easy to make. When you got a drone you control that needs no break, it can bend, it can break, and it's cheaply replaced. And if up-to-date films all in one take. And those studios bank on us doing our duty, unhinging our jaws and digesting the fakes. Cause they know that we'll love how synthetic it tastes. Now watch as they edit your features without any trace. Not that there's anything you could do anyway. Watch as they show you a movie you saying shit you would never say. dystopia boldly accelerates. Maybe you're only a mold, something to fill with a clone, something that Elon would celebrate. Something they own, something they program in code, something that's woefully able to know it's exanimate. Cause it doesn't feel touch over top of the laminate. You will not feel an emotion, but they will not scan and examine it. You and the other consumer contaminants fed on the federal diet of Kiev, Havana, and Tiananmen. I cannot be the only one weighing the pros of abandonment. I can't be the only one weighing the pros of abandonment.
Where did you think we'd go? Love, there's nowhere to lie. I guess it's not who you know, more it's what you can hide. Like we're chained to the floor, and they're streaming us live while we're watching the war, counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5.
And that's backwards from 5.
Count back from 5. Theaters on fire, the cast on strike. I get that
Jesse is
far.
forever daddy.
That's right. That's right. He put it in earlier, but now he had to pay to get it up there again. Jesse is forever daddy. That's right. That goes on the wall. That goes
Enhanced
on the
daddy points. You probably
wall.
can't see it. I got my first gray. I don't know if you can see the first beard gray. Just popped in the other day. So this is the week for it, man.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's what the kids will do to you. And what grade? What grade? We're at second grade now, right? Okay, so yeah, I just went through that. Third grade is a step up, let me tell you. Whew, they don't help you nearly as much as they did when they were in second grade. They kind of throw you to the wolves. It's time to step up. So my kids are learning the hard way right now. All right, so I now have the calendar. Where are we? Presenter mode. Hey, there we go. All right, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is already done. Look at that. We're already halfway through our week. And then we've got, again, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern, we got INN News. And that will likely be a rerun or a clip collection because Reef is on hurricane watch. And I know they didn't put a show together tonight. So my guess is that it will be some kind of a clip show. And then Thursday night, 6 o'clock, Politically Homeless. And then we're going to have Friday. That will be Angel in the afternoon at 7. And then our clip show will be at 10:30 here, of course, on all the INN channels. So same bad time, same bad channel. We've got a ton of stuff, 7 days a week, man. It's last week we took a couple days. I didn't stream all week because it was back to school, so it was a lot of stuff happening around the house. Things are starting to settle down a little bit. And yeah, we'll be back to somewhat of a normal routine. And we'll be back with How Do We Miss That Sunday Night and Boats. Pro Wrestling Talk with Angel will be Saturday. And then I think we're going to do Clip Show Friday. I don't know if we have any plans for Saturday. If Angel's been talking about doing a gaming stream on Saturday nights, like starting at midnight. So we're going to find out if he's going to start that this week or when. Cool, man. All right. Well, yeah. I think we're all done. Yeah. Colin Shane,
I think we're good.
It is a clip show for tomorrow night. So check that out. I'm sure there's stuff you haven't seen.
Mind if I play us out with a little, I found this little piece today when I was searching my notes for any time I've mentioned, Kamala. And, this little piece was like just a couple lines, and I was like, I don't see myself making it any longer. So I'm sure it'll sneak its way onto the next record, because that's the time to sneak little things. But it's just it's very complete in its own little way. This is a little piece called Contra Club. I think I'm gonna lose a tooth. I guess I'm finally growing up, or slipping into septic shock. Insurance does not give a fuck. Profit margin doesn't budge, does not yield one tainted buck, not one bloody penny's worth, not when we've still blood to suck. Not until you're just a shell, worn so thin and heaving dust, brittle skin and breathing husk, desiccation's very touch, desolation wanderlust, desperation haunting us, degradation banquets in elite exclusive contra clubs. Harris lost the vote 'cause like Joe, she's not alive enough. All my heroes failed me save for orca whales and private subs. Sword prevails and claims the tongues of those who see what needs be done, but muting them won't hide the sun or stop the rains like spring won't come. Drink water.
And now we go to the oldie station. And now, at last...
Now here's Roy.
All right, fam.
All right, folks. Love you guys.
Support independent media. We need it more than ever. Love y'all.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
Night.
Who are these people?